When I say 7, y'all say days. Hunting for the cheese like a mouse in a maze. Been down all my life, mama thought it was a phase. Same OG, guess I'm stuck in my ways. Last night I had a dream.
The clock's on me. Welcome to Neutral Voices, the place where your voice matters. And this is our Voice of the People segment. And we are excited about this because this is a segment where you get to comment. And we are actually relying on your comments.
Today, yes.
Yeah, comments, questions, and call in. Don't forget to click like and share.
If you need to call in, 260-310-0663.
Yes, and our clock is ticking down, so we're going to get right into this. We have a lot of good comments, too, already, and so we're kind of excited about it. But before we get into tonight's show, I want to kind of recap last night. So we talked about a lot last night, and what we did, we covered information from the World's Health Organization, and I want to just remind you guys because it was so much. I want to remind you and our viewers of what we talked about. We talked about the 6 steps to actually getting to the point where we are now, where we have a vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
Identifying, this is number 1, identifying and sequencing the virus. 2 was determining the target. 3, preclinical trials. 4, clinical trials. 5, regulatory approval. And then 6 was manufacturing and distribution. So, you know, and then and really when you hear all those 6 steps, you think, and we got it this fast. and so one of the other things I just want to say this, we talked about the Operation Warp Speed.
Fast track. Let's go.
Fast track. So
they did a Star Trek on that one.
Right. I was going to say, in a nutshell, that's how they, made sure we could get it quickly and safely.
The plan.
Well, safely, we're still waiting to see.
But that's the plan. So, that's the main thing with that. So the whole developing, making it, and distributing it. So we have we have comments, but I also have some questions. So let's get right into this because our time seems to just evaporate.
Right. So we asked the people, you, the audience, would you take this vaccine? Yes or no? So starting with Jamie. Jamie says, I will not be until there are at least 75% of the world's population that are vaccinated. Tuskegee, only a generation before me, and medical racism is a thing. Those are my reasons. And that's a very good comment. This is something that we've actually been discussing. So in this case, Jamie knows the history.
Yes, yeah, you know the history.
And we talked about that last night about people need to do their own research.
Yeah.
Right.
So, not just about this panel, but wherever you hear the vaccine being discussed and even COVID-19.
Right. And
there's so much information out there, you need to do that.
And if someone isn't familiar with, what Jamie's speaking of on Tuskegee, can we briefly touch on that in case someone isn't familiar with it?
That's when they injected a lot of black men with syphilis and didn't give them a cure.
Well, that was one part of it, but then there's another side of it where there were so many men. Some of them they already had it, and so they just used them for an experiment. I think the sickening part about the whole Tuskegee experiment was the fact that they had a cure. But they wanted to continue to watch these guys with syphilis to see, what the outcome would be over a long term.
A long period of time.
And then
it affected their wives.
So the wives end up with syphilis, and then they gave birth to children with syphilis. So and that's just a horrible story. I think we need to do a story, just a segment on
the Tuskegee.
Just some of the experiments gone wrong.
Right, and that's a good reason. I mean, that's a verifiable reason to not want anything to do with this.
Yeah, that is.
Wait a minute, 40 years, and here's the thing. When they were dangling, kind of like they trying to do the stimulus check. They're trying to do that right now.
They're trying to do that right now. And it's crazy if you mandate people to do something that y'all don't even know that is safe
Right.
yet.
Right, but and that's why I'm saying, so with that whole Tuskegee thing, and so thank you for commenting. But with that whole thing, they were dangling health care, food, getting free meals and things like that to entice a community of men to get them there for that. And so that's what they're talking about doing with the stimulus check. So how many of you out there, if it was 1,200 or 1,500, would get the vaccine to get your check?
I think that's a scary part to me. If they have to pay me to take this vaccine
Something is
or
wrong.
pay anybody, that creeps me out right there.
Something
Or
is wrong.
is it pay or bribe?
It's bribery or pay. No, pay
just
bribery.
saying.
It's both.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, that's kind of creepy. to
Yeah.
me.
I'll be scared to take that vaccine.
So that's good. That's a good thought. And you know what? Bringing that up, that's the reason why a lot of people, definitely a lot of blacks, they're like, no way.
Right, absolutely.
They always out to get us.
Well, I mean, they actually did the Xavier College.
The
They,
letter.
yeah, they sent them out a letter, and everybody on there was like, "No,
Right.
why? I mean, my question is, if you sent it out to Xavier, why you send it out to Yale or Harvard,
Right.
where your kids are at? I mean,
just
let's be honest about it.
With Tuskegee,
Let's be realistic about it.
It's like with Tuskegee, it's almost like they're treating this like they're testing it on hamsters. These are
Yeah.
humans. These are people. These are not lab rats. They're humans.
Right.
Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next comment that comes with Marie. Marie says, yes, I live with my father, and every day that I go to work, I am scared. He has COPD, in remission from cancer, and had a quadruple bypass only 5 years ago. I cannot get COVID, only to have him catch it from me. I will get the vaccine to not only protect myself, but also protect my family. Wow. Yeah.
See, sounds like me.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this kind of sounds like our conversation the other night, to
Because
where you're afraid to bring it home.
I love my dad, and I'm constantly in his face, and I've recently had to pull back, and now it's the whole mask thing, but so I definitely agree with that.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, I think a lot of people are in that boat, but this kind of brings us to our healthcare workers or any of the people that work with the elderly, people in the nursing homes. I mean, they are right there, on the front lines. A lot of us are considered essential, but these people are right up in there dealing with it every single day.
See, I'm like you, Dr. V. I stay with my grandmother. She's 90 years old.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those situations. I make sure I'm clean, do everything I can when I walk through that door, because I do not want my grandmother to be sick.
Do you want her to get the vaccine, or are you going to get the vaccine?
I'm not getting the vaccine.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you want her to get it?
No. I mean, she don't even leave the house.
Right.
I mean, she literally don't leave the house.
But you know what? And that's why I say people are at high risk and don't even realize it. She's not leaving the house, but you're leaving the house, and then you're coming back in the house touching the same thing she's touching. And are you coming in the house, going straight to the bathroom, removing clothing? Some people are doing this. Some people are actually taking clothes off at the front door, in the garage, and
I mean,
changing
when I walk
clothes
through, when I walk through my door, I use alcohol, hit my hands. I have to, because simple fact, that's my mama. That's
what I'm saying. And that's where we are. We have to be mindful of those things.
Right.
And the moment you decide, I'm good, I've already washed my hands, and we start slipping. That's what happened over Thanksgiving. Remember, they kept telling us not to do this, not to get together, not to travel. And what did we do? A lot of people, they were doing exactly what they said not to do, and they said, we got to watch these numbers. And now guess what? Just during that time, it's been over 200,000 people that came down with the COVID.
Right.
Just during that short period of time. Over the last 7 days, it's been 15,000 people that have died from COVID.
The numbers are crazy. I read something the other day where it said right here in Allen County, we are considered a hot spot, one of the top 10 in the nation. in the nation. So, I mean, that says something right there.
We were going to make the map some type of way.
Right. And I read, too.
Forget about Michael Jackson and Gary.
The health commissioner of Allen County says that our positivity rate is nearly 20% and rising.
I want to know, and honestly, is it? I want to know, is the numbers actually real, or you know what I'm saying? Is it?
I just don't doubt it. You know, I don't mess around with statistics, but I understand that you can play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are you playing with the numbers?
But you don't have to even think that deep, because a lot of us know people personally that have died from COVID.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's how come I don't question it. I don't play with it.
Right.
You know, so Jill, you got a point.
Yeah, I was just going to mention too, as far as Indiana goes, 408,000 cases with an additional 75,770 cases are added today, just today. So, I mean, that kind of puts it into perspective, but who would have thought that Allen County is in the top 10 in the nation? I didn't know that.
Me neither.
I did not. I was floored by that.
It's amazing.
Right.
Let's move on to another comment.
Okay. Nokami says, I wanted to give you a reason that I know no one else could have, instead of the usual and factual science, and all of those are valid. When I was a kid, my dad, who had completed 2 tours in Vietnam, and whom I would have then considered to be a hippie and a conspiracy theorist, said, if the government was ever to want to take over mankind, it will probably come in the form of some rushed BS vaccine. I used to roll my eyes and laugh at some of his theories until I legit started to watch it unfold. I cannot shake that feeling, no matter what. I just recently recovered from COVID, and it was torture. It still is. Wow, that almost gives me the goosies just reading that for her dad to have said that long ago, and then here we are.
Well, you know, and think about that, The Simpsons. I just, you know, I don't know who the director of The Simpsons. I mean, they
he be
did
on
the
point.
same thing.
Yeah, he be on point.
And they talked about it and almost to the T.
And last night we touched a little bit on conspiracy theorists. You know, people that have never been a conspiracy type of person, they're on that level right now. You know, there are some people that are going to be skeptical about everything. You know, 9/11, the list goes on. There are other people who up until now really didn't think there was any conspiracy theories until this.
But you know what? If you start thinking about some of the movies, now come on, y'all think about some of the movies. Okay, so Outbreak. Okay, I was gonna say, what is the one with Will Smith?
I Am Legend.
Okay,
Contagion. That's a good one.
Okay, and so it makes you, you know, just kind of take a step back and say, all right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the credits.
A lot of this stuff is like it's coming to the forefront.
That's exactly right.
Well, and how long ago were these made? I mean, that's what I'm looking at the credits. Like, when did they make this? How did they know this?
But you know, all I can tell you is, you know, watch the movies
or don't watch them.
Don't watch the movies. Don't watch the movies.
Sometimes they tell on themselves. You know, so
I hope the Transformers don't come true.
Not all things, but I'm just saying sometimes you have to just kind of read between the lines with a lot of things when it comes to the media. But so we have a lot of other comments to get to. So let's go ahead and get to the next comment. Thank you guys for commenting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're welcome to continue to comment or
give us
to
a call.
In.
310-0663.
310.
There it is.
0663. Anyways, so our next comment comes from Melanie. In regards to will you be getting the vaccine or no? And Melanie says, I will be. I want my life back. I hate this new normal and want some kind of old normal again. Yes, I know things are forever changed in many, many ways, but I want to go out with friends for dinner in a restaurant. I want to have a big family gathering for a holiday or just any reason at all. The depression that has set on over the last several months is debilitating. I know there will be those who comment on this saying, I'm a lemming or a sheep or whatever. Okay, fine. Call me that. But I want to live normally again. Thank you for that, Melanie. And depression with COVID is something that we have actually talked quite a bit about because it's so very real. Even if you haven't had COVID or known anybody who had it or lost anybody.
Even if you haven't had depression.
Right.
Before.
It's so real.
Any type of mental, illness or just any concerns and going off into these deep, dark places. But COVID has changed the game for a lot of people, a lot of strong people. Now, one of the things that she mentioned about getting her life back, I feel that, but it's scary. Even the people that get the vaccine, here's a hard truth to deal with. They still have to wait like 3 months. Mm-hmm. So even if they get the injection, they still have to wait 3 months to begin moving forward, not to just live normal and to go back or get your life back. Yeah. They have to still wait. And then, watch this. Then don't forget, they got to get the second injection.
Yeah, 2 injections.
Which comes like 30 days after the first?
Yeah, 30 days after.
All I'm saying.
And it takes 3 months for your body to adjust the
immune system.
So, my question is not to be, it's just what's the rush? If you take a little bit more time on working on this vaccine, wouldn't it be more beneficial in the long run versus coming out with it right now?
You mean if they take their time and make sure it's right?
Yeah.
No, how about take their time and test it on more people?
Yeah, make sure it's right.
And let it stay in their system for another year. So I was just getting ready to say, when would you guys get it? Or are you saying you would never get it? Period.
I don't think I would ever get it. I've not had a flu shot. I haven't had any of that since I was little, and my parents took me because at that time that's what everybody did.
Yeah.
So I have no interest in taking that. I am very hesitant.
And so one of my questions, to people with children. So Jill, you have both of you guys have children. Mm-hmm. That's a no for them too. Then.
I would say yes. That's a no.
So that's a no.
Her dad and I will argue about that. Well, see, I will win, so that will be a no. Probably.
I wouldn't force my kids to do something that I wouldn't do.
Right. And being in that position, like Jill, you just said. So dad is saying yes, mom is saying no, and somebody's having that situation right now. How do you solve that issue?
Right. I like I said.
See, and I'm just saying, you see how things can happen, and it's just crazy.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We have another comment.
We do. From Tasha. Hi, Tasha. Tasha says, absolutely not. And all of my kids will not. The drugs these companies come with dangers. Mm-hmm. And one that has been rush tested, we will have no clue what will slip through there. There will be pages and pages of possible side effects, not to mention the opioid epidemic that we are currently in the midst of, which will kill way more than COVID. Once those drugs were pushed by doctors, and now patients are left addicted. But they were fully tested, not rushed, and look at the outcome. The pockets of drug companies are lined while the American people suffer. I am surprised that anyone is willing to risk it. Totally different perspective.
I know. You know what?
Wow.
She's right. Yeah. When it comes to pharmaceuticals and the drug, that's how do we think they keep hospitals? Think about how much money it takes to run a hospital and keep them open. Mm-hmm. How do they do that and then pay the salaries for all those doctors and nurses and janitors and everybody in the medical field? They have to push those meds.
Right, pushers.
And that's why they have so many new ones coming out all the time.
Yeah, a lot of times when you take one med for one thing, it causes something else to go on. So you got to get another medical.
That's right. Now this caused your kidney to fail.
So you got to go get another one over here. And it's just it continues.
Right. And what did we talk about last night? Wasn't it out of ever so many? Was it 10,000? Out of however
10,000
many?
Meds, they approved one.
Yeah,
one of them makes it through.
Yeah.
One of them out of 10,000. Like that's crazy. But that's a very good point.
And then they make a drug for one thing. And it end up better for something else.
That's what they discover.
Yeah. This is better over here.
That gets rid of unwanted hair.
Yeah.
Actually, we could talk about that. Anyway, that's another story. But so she mentioned the side effects before we get into this next comment. She mentioned the side effects, and so you want this to be out there for a longer period of time. And so some of the side effects. Just let's recap from last night. We talked about some of the reactions reactions, and even just as of today, some of the people that have been having reactions to the actual shot, the vaccine, they experience redness at the site, fatigue, fever, and soreness. So the question is, how long will these things last? Mm-hmm. And they said they don't know.
Right, and these are short term. You know, a lot of people that speak of the autism, it took 20 some years for those side effects to start showing up. Mm-hmm. So we've got short term and we've got long term. The long term,
that's right.
I mean, it's the unknown. Yeah. It's the unknown completely.
So, I feel her. So
Michelle is with us tonight.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Michelle says, I want my mom to get better. She just tested positive on Tuesday. I'm sad, depressed, even before she got it. I haven't had a hug in 8 months, but my parents say, don't worry, honey, we are fine. We are blessed. We are in God's time. Again, it's very depressing. We are in this together. I am getting the vaccine because I'm in healthcare. But yes, I'm depressed. I'm scared. God is in control.
I got something for that.
Second that right there.
Yeah,
God is in
God
control.
is in control.
Michelle, hold on to that. No matter what, hold on to that thought and stand on that. God is in control of everything.
That's the main key. Mm-hmm. If you keep your faith in Him,
yes,
you can walk real far with that. But some people is scared. They're using the COVID is scaring more people that believe in God than anything.
That's what I was going to say. This is the time that your test will be, or your faith will be tested, and we will pass the test. So just hold on to your faith and endure. So, but great points, and we're praying for your family.
Yes,
and so and hoping for the best for your mom.
Right. I wanted to say too, Michelle, I know her personally. So her parents are actually in a nursing home. And like she said, she hasn't had a hug. They probably haven't either. So for them to still be so positive and trying to reassure her, their daughter, don't worry, God's in control. That is true faith and love right there, because they haven't had that either.
No,
but they're the ones telling her, just be positive. We're fine. We're good. God's in control. So I think that's pretty.
Did they shut
awesome.
the nursing homes back down? Where the patients, where people can't come see their parents?
With us being in the red zone, right?
Yeah, I think they have to do like the window or something.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, like I said, I was there. I worked at it. Like I said, I worked at a nursing home, and I seen it.
Right.
And it's really sad because now it's about to be winter, and to be sitting out in the cold to see your loved one.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
It's just, I mean, being out in the summer is bad enough because it's hot.
That's right.
But being in the cold is something that just to see your loved one. Yeah. I mean, I a lot of times I just went to my car. Was like, man, I thank God.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, and so some other things that, to think about that maybe people haven't thought about. What about people that have cancer and they have to try to figure things out and and I know they said stay out of the way, but think about that in people that transplant patients or pregnant moms right now, having to decide what to do.
Right.
So one of the things that I recently heard was people that have allergies, they're saying that they shouldn't even. Think about how many people.
That's what I was going to say. There's so many people just in the categories that you mentioned.
So they say,
before you say that, I just was going to say what crossed my mind when I started thinking about that is maybe because they realize there's going to be a shortage of vaccines. Now they're trying to detour people
from getting it,
even wanting it. Those that may want it.
And just think about this: if you pushing something so fast that you don't know what effects is going to be for, like you said, people with allergies, cancer people with, liver problems or liver transplants and things like that. Why would you want this to come this fast?
I know.
I mean, it doesn't make...
Because they just need to get past it. So America's in trouble. The world is in trouble. Economy's in trouble. Families, school, the education, everything. And so, of course, we all, so let's make that clear, we all want the vaccine. We just want to make sure that it's safe to take. And so we just feel like it has to go through a few more months of maybe a couple more years. No.
It need to go at least a year or two.
I was going to say, I think I would be okay. I've never taken a vaccine, but I think I would be okay. Let's say if it's 3 years later and we really get some good stats, and not just on the healthy people like we talked about last night. They did all of these tests on healthy people. And they didn't do that many tests. I mean,
on
as far as
underlying health people,
other cultures.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, so, I'd like to know the numbers with the black people that were tested, black women that were tested, my age range, things like that. So moving down the road a little bit further. So, maybe just to see how things go. Do we have any more comments before we continue moving through? We have a few minutes left.
Hey, did y'all know they said China is the one that created this?
Well, I know because
Well, hold on. Let me give you their numbers.
Okay.
Let me give you their numbers. The cases they had in China is not 94,000 people that had it. 5,000 deaths total. So if they're the ones that
since the beginning to today,
yes.
So the total number of deaths for China so far to date is almost completely equal to the total of new cases that were added to Indiana today.
Yeah.
To put that into perspective.
And these numbers are coming from the WHO. And as of 5:32 this afternoon, those was their numbers.
How do you explain that?
And the WHO is the World Health Organization.
It's actually a live running dashboard of everywhere across the world.
Right.
Wow.
And it's crazy.
When you think about that, Jill, then you just put our numbers on that
for one day.
They have more deaths.
So what do we need to do? What do we need to do, Indiana?
Go to China.
Allie.
That's where I'm going. My flight's booked.
The borders is locked. You ain't going nowhere.
I got VIP.
Oh, okay.
Well, you do know at the end of the day, only 30% of the entire population can get this vaccine.
Well, and like for Indiana, how many people did we say were in Indiana? I don't even remember what it was, but it's a crazy number. They're getting 55,000 vaccines for the first round.
Well, that's just for the healthcare workers.
That doesn't even, so you've got what, 5 or 6 million people? 6 million people in Indiana. So we're going to drop off 55,000.
So that's what I'm telling you. So everybody won't be able to get it anyway. And so, so we need to detour.
It's for the healthcare workers.
Yeah. And so that's why I said I think they're kind of pulling out some things so that certain people will be detoured. Hey, here's a question. How do you make sure people will return for the second shot?
I would think, in my opinion, I'm not sure what they're going to do to ensure, that they will come back. But I think if you have made the decision to go get the first round, you're probably going to go back to get the second because obviously you're there for a reason. You believe in it.
No, honey, because my arm is swollen. My arm has been sore for the last 3 months.
But if
I can barely move it.
Well, and that's obviously some of the side effects.
Like I said, you wouldn't know the side effects until after the second dose.
Probably.
No, they found out after the first.
After the first?
These side effects are after the first vaccine.
But after you've already did it.
The fever, the soreness, the fatigue, the redness, all of that.
Oh, I'm cool because my knees are already hurt.
But guess what? So it gets worse. What happens if they don't come back or return for that second dose? Guess what's going to happen?
That chip they put in you, they're going to shock you with it until you come back.
No, the virus. Okay, so just so we're clear, the virus could actually build up resistance to the vaccine, period, which is why it's very important. If you decide to do number 1, you got to go all the way through and do number 2.
And you already did it, so you might as well keep.
I believe we have a couple more comments. Are these new comments?
Yes. Hi, okay, Laura. Laura says, nope, I'm not worried about it. If God wants to take me out with the virus, then so be it. I won't make it easy. I wear a mask. I wash my hands constantly. I'm a loner who does not like to be touched. So this social distancing is really easy for me. I'd rather let someone else who really needs it get it. Another perspective.
That is.
And once again, mentioning God.
I was just getting ready to say, standing on faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I like how she said, staying out of the way. She said, she stay out of the way anyway. So this is just good timing.
That's exactly what she's saying.
But you know what? It's amazing. She's saying that, but look how many people still keep trying to have gatherings. That's what annoys me. Trying to have all these gatherings, but then keep inviting you to them.
Well, I think that
have them, but don't invite me.
If people are scared and they really believe that this is going to wipe everybody out, that's also what's bringing people to their families. I mean, I do not want to be away from my family.
Right.
Yes.
Period. Have we been doing things that we normally do? Absolutely not. Our Thanksgiving went from 50 people to 8. So we are taking, precautious measures. But if this is going to wipe everyone out, and we're all going to get it or whatever, then my parents probably won't survive it because they're older. So am I going to stay away from them? There are people, my friend, her mom passed away the other day. They can't even have a normal funeral for her.
That's the part that really, I was going to say that's my fear factor, because not just about me getting it, but somebody that I love having it, and they won't let me get close to them to hug them and to love them through the pain and through their last days and last moments.
So I do
imagine.
I think a lot of gatherings right now are not appropriate, but I also think that who are we to tell people that you cannot go see your parents, you cannot go see your dad, you cannot go see your mom in the nursing home, because you're going to cling to your family and God right now when you're afraid. That's where you're going.
That's the best thing to be around.
So couldn't they give you a suit or something?
What, a hazmat suit?
I mean, just whatever they're wearing.
But see, that's the thing.
Go in there and comfort my loved one, that was the case.
If you work in a nursing home, they have the basic things. They got the gloves, the mask, and that's it. And
I know, but give me something and let me go in there with the people that I love, and that's where we are. So all I want to say is this: we have to continue to keep each other lifted up in prayer. Because this really can play on your mind and your emotions.
Right.
No matter how you look at it, no matter how strong your faith is, and we get it. Because some people say, well, God has not given you the spirit of fear. But when you see people around you literally dropping dead, people you've seen and you spent time with last week, and you thought they had a common cold, and then boom, they're out of here.
Of all ages.
Of all ages.
All races, all everything.
Yes. So, so we are, in a different place. Do we have any last comments in regards to the vaccine or COVID that we want to leave with the people before we exit? Because it's time to
I just want to say that everybody's going to have to make a choice with this, I believe. I mean, do your research, make a choice based on what's best for you and your family, and continue to be kind and love others right now during this time.
Yes,
that's right.
And one of the key things is we always sit and talk about the death. Let's start really just talk about the survival rate, because the survival rate is
some people
high.
Have had it and they have.
The survival rate is way higher than the death rate.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can probably still get it. Some of them, but yes, I like that. Let's make sure we focus on that on that part. And that's a good place to end our topic on this. Is some people survive. And
a lot of people survive.
That's right. And so let's plan on that. Hey, when the vaccine hits our community, you will be informed. It's based on the state, and so every state is going to be different. Where you will hear that on your local news, you will be informed. And we just want to say this is Neutral Voices.
Hey, don't forget to click in on us tomorrow for Randomonium.
Yes, well, I just want to remind people what tonight is. This is the Voice of the People, and then tomorrow is our Fabulous Friday Randomonium show. So we plan to see you Friday.
Come and hang out with us.
So please hang out with us for Randomonium. Thank you. Be safe. Mask up.
When I say 7, y'all say days. Hunting for the cheese like a mouse in a maze. Been down all my life, mama thought it was a phase. Same OG, guess I'm stuck in my ways. Last night I had a dream.